What is going on, fight fans? So we got to talk about something that really that has the potential of happening. As far-fetched as it seems, it has the potential to go down, and that is gameplay this week. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. This is Edward, and you're watching Boxing Fanatico. All right, I know it sounds crazy, and I know it sounds far-fetched, but when you look at this logically speaking, it technically has been some time since we've seen gameplay. Granted, the last gameplay we saw was pretty detailed, showing the control scheme as they played the game and showed us the different types of things that they can do with the game. So it was a pretty detailed gameplay setup. I know for a lot of people, they still don't consider gameplay, but there's nothing you can do for those people. Now, why do I think that we might get gameplay this week? And kudos to Coach's Corner, because he's actually the first one to touch on such a far-fetched notion of gameplay in terms of being this week. That kind of speculation that maybe there will be gameplay is bold. Even for me, even me thinking of this being a possibility is crazy. But it isn't so far-fetched. And the reason why I think it's not far-fetched is because of a few things that make so much sense. And Coach's Corner kind of was touching on this. But I think the interview that was done yesterday further emphasizes this point. Coach's Corner stated that both the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury models are fully 100% rendered. So we know that they're in game. What we don't know, though, is if their fighting styles and their movements have been captured already in terms of the motion capture. We don't know that, but we do know that they've been rendered. So at least in terms of the puzzle piece of are they ready to be displayed on screen fighting against each other, we know that they are in the game and fully, like, being scanned is one thing, but then being completely put into the game is another process that takes some time because they have to remove all the different artifacts and they have to do a bunch of stuff. They have to sharpen it up and do a bunch of things and then render it in game and then code it and then put it in. So there's a lot of things that have to happen before we actually see them in game, like we did with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. But we know that they're both rendered, so that piece to the puzzle is already complete. If they're motion captured, then I don't see any reason why there wouldn't be gameplay tomorrow or even Saturday before the fight begins or before the event begins. Because this has always been a strategic marketing tactic to garner more interest in any specific topic. Even fighters do this. For example, if Mayweather is going to have a fight on Saturday, then Manny Pacquiao will announce something and that will gain attention because the whole, debate between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather and vice versa. If Manny Pacquiao is during his fight week and his fight is coming up, Mayweather would announce something like who he's fighting or signing with Showtime or something to that effect. It's always good to do it when everyone's attention is on the sport. And right now, everyone's attention is on Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. So you can't get any better publicity and marketing than Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury already being rendered and then actually fighting each other. Now, that is a bold claim by Coach's Corner, and I am seconding or championing his claim as well because it makes marketing sense. It makes strategic sense to gain more interest. Now, this is not to fuel more people to want to buy the game, but just to gain that, to continue that snowball effect. I thought it was still a little far-fetched, but then they hit us with, a few days later, an interview with Deontay Wilder. That seems to me to be that marketing drip that people do leading up to a significant event. They did the reveal of Tyson Fury while he was in game, skipped a few months. They did the reveal of Deontay Wilder, rendered in game. Then a few days, they did a Deontay Wilder interview with Todd Grisham. And in 2 more days, we're going to get the fight. It makes a lot of sense to get so much hype and so much attraction to this game to have Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury have some sort of interactive gameplay displayed for us before the event. It just makes a lot of marketing sense. Now, they are very meticulous over at Steel City Interactive. So, if they were to do it, what would be the premise? You can't just do it to do it. It has to have a premise so that it can make sense. Now, one thing that could make a lot of sense is that they can go the route of the explaining what it is to have a technical fighter versus a power puncher and that dynamic, and then just explain that in a 4-minute, 5-minute video and have them go at it and show the differences of the two, what it's like to be technical versus what it's like to be a person who's seeking the knockout, and then work off of that. But probably the more likely scenario is a sizzle reel. A sizzle reel of both of them kind of going at it to some extent, probably seeing some punches being landed, but it's going to be edited and cut in with maybe some music and no voiceover, and them promoting the fight that's happening on Saturday while also at the same time subsequently promoting the game itself. I think that's probably the more strategical route to go, but obviously the more detailed route is a breakdown of a technical fighter versus a power puncher using both Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder in the lead up to the actual fight between the two. But I want to know what your thoughts are. I was on the fence when I saw Coach's Corner's video about it because I thought to myself, that's a bold leap to say, are we going to see gameplay soon? Because once Saturday passes, there really isn't any point of doing this gameplay. There literally is no point at all of giving us this. So basically what Coach's Corner was saying is that are we going to see gameplay this week, essentially? And that's kind of what I'm saying in this video as well. And I think what piqued my interest was that interview, because it gives me that feeling, that marketing build-up feeling that's building up to an apex where right at the peak, they give us this amazing new footage that we haven't seen, and it's going to be Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury in some sort of interaction. Maybe a sizzle reel. I'm thinking sizzle reel because it makes a little bit more sense. Or a detailed explanation of the two types of fighters, because that's the only way that a detailed explanation would even matter, because they've already given us a detailed explanation. So they have to kind of break down something else. They can't just break down the gameplay when they've already done that to a certain extent. Well, that's my thoughts. I want to know your thoughts. Do you think we're going to get an incredible moment this week and get some gameplay with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury? I want to know your thoughts. Put them down in this comment section below, and please don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to hit subscribe, because you know you're going to get all of the latest information on ESBC right here on Boxing Fanatico. This is Boxing Fanatico, and I'll see you in the next one.